What's going on, guys? It's Brendan Abbott coming to you with the KBR Sports Podcast, the best sports podcast of your 24-hour day. Guys, it's official. It's over. The Los Angeles Lakers are done. Now, it pains me to say it, but I think I'm done watching Laker basketball this season. I think I'm hanging up the cape. I'm hanging up the urge to watch this team night in and night out. For one, it makes me get no sleep at all. And two, they're just not a team worth watching. This team is so bad, and I just don't even know how to equate it in words to illustrate just how bad this team is. They are not worth my time. They're not worth your time. And honestly, them not making the playoffs does us as fans a service to not having to watch that sorry team make it into the playoffs and get swept by Golden State. Let the Spurs go. Let the Spurs try and win a game against Golden State in the first round. Let the Kings, somebody. Just not the Lakers. Just not the Lakers. I can't watch this team be as just disserviceable and despondent from play as they have been. I can't do it. I'm done. I can't do it no more. There's no point. The team just doesn't even, when it comes to watching them on a nightly basis, because I think so many people talk about this team and they just see the end box score and they don't watch all the games. And it's easy for people to do that. But when you're watching games and you're watching how this team plays together and how they are supposed to have each other's backs, particularly on the defensive end, this team just doesn't play that way. And and the thing is, you watch them, a team with names on that team, with LeBron James, Rajon Rondo, Kyle Kuzma. Brandon Ingram didn't play last night. He was out with a shoulder injury. But you watch them play with guys with names like that. And then you go and see a team with the Clippers without any name brand superstar to think of, with guys like Danilo Gallinari, Ivica Zubac, who was formerly a Laker, who even criticized the environment of the Lakers, Patrick Beverley, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Lou Williams, who doesn't even start, Montrezl Harrell. These are guys that are putting it on the line every single night. Funny thing is, the Clippers know that they are not a team that should be beating the Lakers, particularly when the Lakers are playing at their best. They said it. They said that at our best and at their best, the Lakers are better. But the problem is we give it our best every single night. The Lakers don't give it their best every single night. And honestly, I don't remember the last time I seen the Lakers play at their best. It might have been Christmas Day, or it could have been even the one against Houston. If you ask me, all the games are starting to just blur together at this point. I just can't even tell. And the funny thing is, at the beginning of the season, I saw the vision that Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka have for this team, in which they didn't want the bulk of the load to be on LeBron James. And in saying that, what I mean is they didn't want LeBron to be surrounded by shooters and him have to create for everything, just like he had to do in Cleveland. Where I think they missed the bill here, and I understood where they were going with it at first, but where I think they missed the bill is that they put too many ball-dominant players on the team. And I think they just scrapped the necessary need for shooting. And the problem with it, everybody was saying at the beginning of the year, because, at first it was like, oh, everything's fine because they were the fourth seed. But then you're seeing, after LeBron's injury, that they're just struggling to find offense. They went 7-11 without LeBron James. Now, that's not terrible. You would at least hope that without LeBron you would go 500, because that means you're at least staying afloat to some degree. You're at least trending. You're not losing more games than you're winning. You're at least trending to stay in the playoff hunt. Last night was a outlier for a guy like Reggie Bullock, who went 0 of 7 from three. He literally could not buy a bucket from three. But then you see other guys like LeBron was 1 of 6, Kyle Kuzma was 1 of 5, and Mike Muscala 1 of 2, Mo Wagner 0 of 1. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 1 of 3. Josh Hart shot the ball, right? He saw 2 of 4 from the field, or from 3. But you need floor spacers that a team has to respect on the other end of the court when they're playing your team. You need that floor spacing. And the Lakers just don't have the three-point shooting. They don't have the guys to close out games. They don't have any of it. So when you're watching this team, there's so many times you're just realizing, man, this is such a bad basketball team in terms of the way it's composed. They were winning games at first because they were a team that was together on defense, and they actually rally behind each other on defense. But they don't play defense together anymore. You see so many mental lapses on the defensive end. And last night, I don't put any of that on LeBron, because last night LeBron James was playing defense. It's not like he wasn't playing defense. He was actually trying on defense. He was trying on defense. He put up his numbers on offense. It's at some point, it's like, I can't blame the same guy multiple times over and over and over again. There's something wrong with somebody else at that point. And LeBron does have some blame for how bad the Lakers have been in terms of his willingness to play defense and his passive aggressiveness in terms of placing blame in other places as opposed to redirecting it to himself. But it's always hard for people to put the blame on a guy who puts up 27 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. That's something that's tough for people to do. But then you look at what he did from the free throw line. I mean, he was 8 of 12 from the free throw line and missed some big free throws. And so that's been something that's been a problem for LeBron all year. And the Lakers need a guy in conjunction with LeBron that can close and be the one to knock down free throws when they need it. That was Kyrie in Cleveland. Kyrie, when you'd give the ball to him, he could take it to the rim, he could shoot it from wherever, and if he got fouled, he can knock down the free throws. LeBron has always struggled with the free throw shooting. And so you look at this team, and it's bad. It's just bad. They're bottom of the league in free throws. They're bottom of the league in 3-point shooting. This team was built to carry to essentially carry LeBron in terms of on-ball usage. But then he ends up using the ball even more because some of these guys can't create shots for themselves. Now, I don't know if the Lakers management and brass didn't see it, because if they when you have Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and then you sign Rajon Rondo, you have 3 ball handlers at this point, along with LeBron. So that'll make it 4, I guess. But you have 4 ball handlers, on-ball ball handlers who can play make to a degree. Why wouldn't you surround them with shooting? At least have 2 prime shooters ready to go out the gate. I just don't. The quickness of which they picked up Lance Stevenson, Michael Beasley, and JaVale McGee still does stun me now when I think about it to this day. Now, I'm not trying to be that guy in hindsight that's now like, oh, this team was a ill-constructed team when I was the first one back then trying to justify the signings. I understood the reason why they signed them, but I had you thinking about it in totality now, and you're seeing how the product has actually resulted in. When you realize there are that many ball handlers, like Michael Beasley's not a spot-up shooter. Now, maybe you would assign 3 and D guys that were versatile. Now, that's one of the most rarest commodities in the league that everybody's looking for, is a 3 and D that's versatile, that can guard multiple positions. And I think that's what the Lakers were trying to avoid in regards to the team they were putting together. They didn't want to sign guys like a Kyle Korver, who is a liability on the defensive end, where you play him on one end and he can't play on the other end. But if you're getting guys like a Trevor Ariza and so on, a PJ Tucker, then your 3 and D style, you can play the 3 out, because then on the other end, those guys can go and guard 1 through 4. And so for this Lakers team, honestly, I don't even want to talk about them that long. I think this is probably going to be about it. I just want everybody to know it's over. It's over. It's over. I don't know if I'm going to watch any more Laker games. Just for the fact that I always want to make sure I know my basketball, what I'm talking about. I probably will still watch, because you get to a point when watching this team, and I tweeted about this, because there's a difference between watching a bad LeBron team and watching a bad Kobe team when the Lakers were bad with both guys. And when I say that, I mean the fact that when the Lakers were bad when they're bad under LeBron, essentially you notice it more, because LeBron is the guy that has the propensity to get guys open with his passing. He will find guys with the open passes and everything like that and get them open shots. The thing is, you realize how bad they are because they miss those open shots like there's no tomorrow. Like they just miss and miss and miss. And after a while, seeing the consistent misses of wide open shots demoralizes you as a fan and as a team. you were seeing after a while the open shots started to take a toll on these guys during the game against the Clippers. You started seeing their body language start to change. You're starting to see when they miss a wide open three on one end, then the Clippers go back on the other end and get an and one or hit a three. It's like a 6-point swing. So you become despondent. You become lackluster, and you see it in their body language. And then what I was saying, the difference between this LeBron-led team, a LeBron-led bad team, and the Kobe-led bad team, because Kobe's just going to shoot the ball. Kobe's going to take all those shots because he doesn't trust his teammates to that level. And that showed in his prime and in the mid-2000s when Shaq initially left. Kobe took it upon himself to try and will his team to the playoffs each and every year. He was successful 2 out of the 3 years where they had 2 first-round exits to the Phoenix Suns. One round where they blew a 3-1 lead. And you see even in Kobe's later years when they had the Dwight Howard and Steve Nash team, where that team just couldn't gel for whatever it was and they didn't trust each other. So Kobe took it upon himself to essentially have one of the best stretches of his career and will that team to the playoffs, which led to him tearing his Achilles. And that was actually a time period when Kobe was a similar age to LeBron James. And so when you're looking at I even said on Twitter, not that I'm saying one style is more correct than the other, but when you're consistently giving the ball up to guys that maybe don't have the ability to knock down shots to the degree you can, or to the degree another guy that like a Kyrie or Kyle Korver that you would trust to knock down those shots, maybe it is a better method to take on the James Harden ideal and just dominate the ball and just go at it. Stop giving up the rock. Stop trying to make the right play. Just take the ball, take it to the hole, do whatever you can to will your team there. Go and score. LeBron says he gets way more enjoyment from passing the basketball. Well, this isn't the time for enjoyment. The time for enjoyment is long gone. The time for enjoyment was Christmas Day when the groin went. Now we're in the time for desperation. And there have been so many times where I know people always say LeBron wants to play the right way. These are the times for him to go into James Harden mode. Would anybody fault LeBron if he's going up and dropping 40 points, 5 assists, and 8 rebounds? No. Now, granted, he's not as young as James Harden, which takes a lot of energy to do. It does take a lot of energy to do. But even in a lot of my topics that I talk about on the show are inspired by conversations I have with my brother and my best friend Prince, because one of the things that my brother was even telling me is that he prefers if LeBron would probably just choose one or the other. Either you're going to score or you're going to be the assist guy, because doing both just takes too much energy from him. And if you need him to play defense, him doing both and then not being able to play defense just isn't giving the end result that obviously it should be giving. So I don't know. I'm just telling you it's over. It's all done. It's a wrap. It was a good season. It was fun. Beginning of the year, all the LeBron commercials, California love, all that. And one thing, you can't ignore the fact that he got hurt. You can't ignore that fact that he did get hurt, and the team went 7-11 without him. But then even since he's been back, they've been terrible. And some of that is on him. Some of that does go on him. But I'm done talking about the Lakers. I'm done. I appreciate everybody tuning into the KBR Sports Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to the KBR Sports Podcast on YouTube, Rabble TV, Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Make sure you guys also check out my website, BrendanAbbott.com, where there's new posts, and you'll see a post about just how bad the Lakers have been defensively, where I write in my most recent write-up on there. And you'll see just about how disjointed of a team this is currently. But you'll also find other content in there, as well as my Twitter and the KBR Sports Twitter page, which is at KBR_sports, and mine is at AbinBrendan. So make sure you guys go check that out. And make sure you leave your comments and your thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think about the Lakers so far? How disappointing has this season been? And what did you expect from LeBron James in the first year? Because the funny thing is, everybody was saying this was the year that LeBron, he's going to have the least amount of expectations. And yet it still seems like the expectations were greater than what we've gotten on the court so far, despite the fact that he did have the groin injury. So that's interesting to think about. But all right, y'all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Give me your thoughts and opinions. And until next time, guys, I'm out.